They warned her never to go near the forest after midnight. They told her about the woman with the glowing eyes who spoke to snakes and could change fate for a price. They called her Mamanea Spirit, a priestess, maybe something worse. But Asaki didn't care. Not that night. The wind was cold as it whispered through the trees. The leaves made soft, rattling sounds like tiny bones in a jar. Asaki walked barefoot across the dirt path. Her white dress dragged behind her, catching leaves and dust, but she kept walking. Her heart was too full of pain to feel anything else. She had been crying for days. Kojo, the man she loved, was about to marry someone else. A rich girl from the big city. She had soft skin, fine clothes, and a powerful family name. Asaki had none of those things. All she had was her heart, and it was breaking. She had begged Kojo to choose her, but he said it was not his choice. His father had made the arrangement. The marriage was important. It would bring wealth to his family. He said he was sorry, said goodbye, but Asaki was not ready to lose him, so she followed. The stories, the whispers, the warnings, and they led her to the snake pit. It was hidden deep inside the forest, where the trees grew so thick no moonlight could reach the ground. The entrance was just a hole in the earth, covered in vines and moss. But once inside, it felt like stepping into another world. The chamber was wide and round like a sacred cave. The walls were covered in carvings of snakes, big ones, small ones, even snakes with wings and human faces. 100 candles floated in the air without strings or holders. Their flames flickered softly, making the snake carvings seem alive. The air smelled sweet and heavy, full of burning herbs, frankincense, myrrh, and something darker. And there, in the center, sat Mama Naya. She did not look like a monster. She looked like a queen. She wore a long green robe, covered in gold threads shaped like serpents. Her skin was smooth, and her long black hair fell down her back like water. Her eyes were deep amber, glowing slightly in the candlelight. A large emerald snake lay curled at her feet. When Mama Naya spoke, her voice was soft smooth like honey, but with something sharp hiding underneath. "Why do you come to me, child?" she asked. Asaki dropped to her knees. Her forehead touched the floor. "I have come because I am in love," she said. "But he is promised to another. I cannot lose him. Please help me." Mama Naya tilted her head. Her eyes did not blink. "You want me to make him love you?" Asake's hands shook. "Yes, Mama. I want his heart to be mine. I want him to forget the other girl. I want him to choose me." A small smile touched Mama Naya's lips. For a moment, her teeth looked too sharp. "You do not ask for love. You ask for control," she said quietly. "And control always comes with a price." Asaki raised her head, eyes full of tears. "I will pay it," she said. "Whatever it is." The snake at Mama Naya's feet lifted its head. Its eyes glowed green. It moved slowly toward Asaki, tongue flicking the air. Mama Naya stood up. Her robe shimmered as she moved across the chamber. She opened a wooden chest and pulled out a small glass bottle. Inside was a glowing red liquid that moved like fire. "This potion will bind his soul to yours," she said. 3 drops in his tea, before the 7th leaf falls from the tree outside your window. Then his heart will belong to you. But beware, love that is forced is not real. If he begins to resist, the bond will hurt both of you. Saki took the bottle with both hands. She was shaking, but she nodded. Double quotes, "Thank you, Mama," she said. Mama Naya watched her with calm eyes. "Go," she said. "And remember, the heart is not a cage." Asaki returned to the village before sunrise. The roosters had not yet crowed. The bottle was hidden inside her dress, close to her chest. Her breath was heavy, but her heart beat with hope. That evening, she met Kojo by the riverside. He looked sad, still full of guilt for breaking her heart. She poured the tea, she added 3 drops, and she watched, at first, Nothing happened. Then, slowly, his eyes softened. His shoulders relaxed. He smiled in a way he hadn't smiled in weeks. He touched her hand, called her Miyazaki. The next day he told his father the wedding was off. He chose Asaki. He chose love. They ran. Away together to a quiet hut in the forest, far from the gossip, far from the shame. For a while, they were happy. Kojo held her tightly at night. He sang to her. He brought her flowers. His eyes only saw her. But then, things began to change. Kojo stopped smiling. He grew quiet. Didn't laugh anymore. He asked the same questions again and again. Where were you? Who did you talk to? Why were you gone so long? His hands, once gentle, began to tremble at night. He cried in his sleep. And Asaki, once full of joy, now sat by the fire with a face as pale as ash. The man she loved was no longer there. Only a shadow remained. Something inside her began to scream. She had gotten what she wanted, and now it was tearing them both apart. Love from the Snake Pit, written in simple and basic English in third person, with a strong intro hook and emotional supernatural tone inspired by Tituta creepy African tales. Love from the Snake Pit, Part 2. 960 words. Kojo was no longer the man she loved. He walked like his bones were heavy. He stared at walls for hours. His eyes, once warm like the morning sun, had become dark and empty. And when he looked at Asaki, it was not love, it was fear. Or something worse. As Ache sat on the edge of their bed, her hands folded tightly in her lap. The red bottle was long gone, buried under the big Iroko tree. But the spell still lived in every breath Kojo took, in every step he made toward her, then away. He followed her like a shadow, afraid to let her go, afraid to speak, afraid to be alone. This was not love. It was something broken, and Asake's heart could no longer carry the weight. That night while Kojo slept, Asaki stared into the small, cooking fire. The flames danced quietly, but inside her head, everything screamed. She had gone to Mama Naya for love, but what she got was a prison, a chain, and she held the key. Tears fell from her eyes as she stood up and grabbed her scarf. She walked out of the hut and into the trees. The wind whispered through the leaves, but she didn't feel it. Her feet remembered the path, even if her mind didn't. Her body moved with sorrow, but also with purpose. The forest was darker than before. The moon was full, but the clouds kept hiding it. Still, Asaki kept walking. The entrance to the snake pit was just as she left it, covered in vines, surrounded by silence. But now even the air felt heavier, like the trees themselves were watching her. She stepped inside. The candles were already lit. The snakes were already waiting, and on her throne of coiled stone and shadow, Mama Naya sat, her glowing eyes calm, her face unreadable. "You return," she said, her voice smooth and low. "Is your love now complete?" Asaki dropped to her knees. "No," she said. "I did not find love. I found pain." Mama Naya watched her for a long moment. The emerald snake at her feet slithered closer to Asaki, its tongue flicking in the air. "I warned you," Mama Naya said gently. "Love taken by force is not true. It rots from the inside." "You did not listen?" Asaki whispered. "But I see now. See what I've done to him. He is not my Kojo. He is a prisoner, and I am the chain." Mama Naya tilted her head. "And now you want to break the chain?" Asaki nodded. Her voice trembled. "Yes, please. I want him to be free, even if he never loves me again. I just want him to live." A silence passed through the chamber. The candles flickered. The walls seemed to breathe. Mama Naya stood slowly too. "Undo what has been done," she said. "A price must be paid. Love taken must be returned. But the wound it leaves behind," she paused, her eyes narrowing, "that wound will belong to you." "I understand," Asaki said. Even though she didn't single quotes Mama Naya raised her hand. From behind the throne, a wide black bowl floated into the air. It was made of clay but shimmered like water. Inside was a dark, thick liquid that smelled of fire, blood, and something ancient. "Place your hands in the bowl," Mama Naya said. "Give him back his soul." Asaki took a deep breath. She stepped forward and placed her hands in the cold liquid. Pain shot through her arms, like fire. She screamed. The candles flared. The snakes hissed. The carvings on the walls seemed to move. But she did not pull her hands out. She held them there, even as the pain burned deep into her bones. Then, silence. When she pulled her hands out, they were marked with snake-like scars, thin, curling lines that glowed faintly under the candlelight. Mama Naya looked at her with soft eyes. "It is done," she said. Asaki dropped to the ground, her body shaking. But in her heart, something felt lighter, like a stone had been lifted. "Will he live?" she asked weakly. "He will heal," Mama Naya said, "and you will carry the scars. Not just on your hands, but in your soul." Asaki nodded slowly. She stood, though her legs were weak. She bowed deeply. "Thank you," she whispered, and then she walked away. Back through the dark forest, back to the small hut on the edge of the world. Kojo was still sleeping when she returned. His chest rose and fell gently. His face looked peaceful, like it had not in weeks. When he opened his eyes in the morning, he blinked slowly, confused. He looked at Asaki, but it was different now. There was no fire, no obsession, just quiet. And calm. "I had a strange dream," he said. She smiled, though her eyes were wet. "I know," she replied. Kojo left days later. He returned to his village. His father welcomed him back. The rich girl married another man. Life moved forward. Asaki stayed in the hut, alone. She carried the scars on her hands and the silence in her heart. But she did not regret setting him free. Because true love, is not something you take. It's something given. And if it is not given freely, it is not love at all. As for Mama Naya, she still sits on her serpent throne beneath the earth. She still answers those who come crying in the dark. But now, if you listen closely, you'll hear the softest whisper in the shadows. The heart is not a cage. And those who try to trap it will lose themselves inside.